Okay, let's talk about something we almost never say out loud. There's this secret experience that comes with parenting, a feeling that can make you feel like you're failing all alone. Well, in this explainer, we're going to put a name to that feeling. And for a lot of you, I think this is going to feel like someone is finally describing what's been going on in your head. So yeah, let's get into it.
And this, right here, is the absolute truth we have to start with. You look around, at school pickup, on social media, and all you see is competence. But what's really happening under the surface, that's a totally different story. And the fact that we're all so quiet about it is doing something pretty specific to all of us. So, what is this thing we're talking about? Well, it's an experience that's so incredibly common, but it has no name in our day-to-day lives. And because it has no name and we don't see anyone else talking about it, we're left to assume it's just us. It's not. No way. This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? On the outside, we see other parents just managing. They show up on time, they handle the meltdowns, but on the inside, for so many of us, there's just this constant low hum of anxiety. A little voice always going, am I doing this right? Oh man, did I handle that all wrong? So let's give it a name. Let's call it the second track. This is the thing nobody talks about. It's that nonstop mental checklist, that constant self-monitoring that's running in the background, even when you're just trying to have a normal chat with another parent at the park. So you have to ask, right? If this second track thing is happening to everyone, why is it such a huge secret? Well, it's because we've all, without ever saying it, agreed to an unspoken social contract. Let's break down what that actually means.
These are basically the unwritten rules of the game. Rule 1, we show up looking like we've got it together. Rule 2, we might share a funny, oh my gosh, the toddler drew on the wall kind of story. But rule 3, and this is the big one, we do not talk about that deep, gut-wrenching feeling that maybe we're not cut out for this. It's just not done.
And here's what's so interesting. This whole setup isn't because people are mean or fake. It's actually a protective mechanism. It kind of just grew on its own. We all follow these rules to protect ourselves, and maybe each other, from a vulnerability that just feels way too big for a casual conversation. Please let this one sink in. That giant gap you feel between the parent you seem to be and the anxious one you are on the inside, that is not your fault. It's not a personal failure. It's a flaw in the system, the predictable result of a social world that literally has no room for this kind of honesty. So, okay, we get why we're all so quiet. But this silence isn't harmless, not at all. It comes with a very real, and actually very high, psychological price tag. Our brains are wired to find patterns, to make sense of things. And when we don't have the real story, when we don't know how other parents are actually feeling, our brain just defaults to what it can see. And what it sees is everybody else's highlight reel, everybody else's perfect performance. And that comparison creates these two very distinct layers of anxiety. Now, the first layer is just, it's the normal stress of being a parent. But that second layer, the one that's born from all this silence, that one is so much heavier. That's the layer that whispers, everyone else seems to be doing fine. I must be the only one. I'm broken. And this is the absolute key. The most painful part of your anxiety might be the part that isn't even real. This isolation layer is built piece by piece out of the absence of an honest conversation. It's like a phantom, but man, it feels heavy. All right, this is the moment. This is where we get to the big idea, the core reframe of this whole explainer. We are about to look at this anxiety in a completely, radically different way. Seriously, just pause and sit with that for a second. What if everything we've told ourselves about this feeling, what if it's all wrong? What if it's not a sign that we're failing? And there it is. That's the paradigm shift. That constant nagging hum of anxiety isn't proof that something's broken inside you. It's actually proof that a vital part of your parenting system is switched on and working perfectly. And what's working is your attunement. It's your ability to tune in to your kid. Think about it. The very same sensitivity that lets you notice the tiniest change in your child's mood is the exact same sensitivity that makes you painfully aware of every little misstep you make. They're two sides of the same coin. This just lays it out so clearly. For years, the common belief has been that anxiety means you're failing. But the reality, the truth, anxiety is a function of attunement. It literally runs on the same wiring as your ability to care deeply. It's a feature, not a bug. And this just nails it, doesn't it? The parents who are carrying the heaviest load of anxiety are very often the ones who are the most tuned in, the ones paying the most attention. The less you track, the less anxious you feel. Your anxiety is almost a direct measure of how much attention you're paying. So now that we have this totally new way of looking at things, what changes? What's the real-world impact of knowing this?
Okay, let's be realistic. This isn't a magic wand. Knowing this won't make that second track just vanish. But what it does do is peel away that toxic, isolating second layer. It dismantles the shame. It takes away the self-blame that made everything feel so much heavier than it needed to be.
For so long, right, the internal monologue has been driven by this one question. A question that starts from the assumption that your anxiety is proof that something is fundamentally wrong with you. But now, with this new understanding, a different question becomes possible, a better one. Instead of judging yourself, you can get curious. It's a gentler question that assumes your system is actually working and it's just trying to give you some information. If you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Your anxiety is not a final verdict on your parenting. It's data. Sure, sometimes the data is a little scrambled or the alarm is too loud, but it's coming from a system that is working overtime because it cares so much. You know, the parent who's lying awake at 3 a.m., running through every interaction of the day, that's not a parent who's failing. That's the parent who cares enough to keep checking, to keep trying, to keep paying attention. And that deep, sometimes painful refusal to look away, that's not a weakness. That is, in the true sense of the word, love.